Rise and shine, nerds.
You're tuned in to the Back Row Morning Show, a Monday through Thursday morning show for LTN Radio and proudly a part of the Love Thy Nerd podcast network. I'm Radio Matt.
And I'm Mo. We're caffeine-fueled and ready to talk your ears off. Our show covers a lot of banter-worthy goofiness inspired by current pop culture, as well as a focus topic that spans all four of our shows for the week.
This week on the show, we're talking all about love languages. Talking about the 5 love languages, and today we're going to kick off things by figuring out what our love languages are. Now, both of us may have taken a quiz like this in the past, but
Sure.
Thought it'd be a good opportunity to retake it, see how we're doing. Anyone listening along, you can do this with us. Just go to the number 5lovelanguages.com, and the quiz is linked right on the front page. So I've got 2 of them open here, so both of us can take this quiz.
Okay.
Separately.
Cool.
All right, how would you describe yourself, Mo? An adult, a teenager, or you're taking a quiz for your child? Just kidding. All right, so you are single. I'm in a relationship. All right, Mo.
Hey, now it's not going to be weird anymore when we say we're married, not to each other, but separately. Anyway.
Well, it's not going to be weird because we won't say that.
Okay.
Yeah, right? Because we can't. Because if we say that, then that would still be weird.
Okay.
All right. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love sends me a loving note, text, or email for no special reason, or I hug someone I love.
The text note.
Okay. I'm choosing the other option.
Oh.
It's more meaningful to me when I can spend alone time with someone I love, just us, or someone I love does something practical to help me out.
Alone time.
Yeah, same. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love gives me a little gift as a token of our love, of concern for each other, or I get to spend uninterrupted leisure time with those I love.
Leisure time.
Same. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love does something unexpected to help me with a project, or I share an innocent touch with someone that I love.
Innocent touch.
For mine, it's when my partner and I touch, which feels like a little different than innocent, but I'm picking that. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love puts their arm around me in public, or someone I love surprises me with a gift.
Public arm around.
Same. It's more meaningful to me when I'm around someone I love, even if we're not really doing anything, or I can be comfortable holding hands, high-fiving, or putting my arm around someone I love.
What was the first one?
You're around them, even if you're not doing anything, or that you can be comfortable holding hands, high-fiving, or putting your arm around someone.
I'm going to go with the second one.
I'm going to go with the first one. It's more meaningful to me when I receive a gift from someone that I love, or I hear from someone I love that they love me.
Hear from someone I love that they love me. Words of affirmation.
It's more meaningful to me when I sit close to someone I love, or I am complimented by someone I love for no apparent reason.
Sit close.
Sit close. Yeah, same. It's more meaningful to me when I get the chance to just hang out with someone that I love, or I unexpectedly get small gifts from someone I love.
Just hang out.
Just hang out, yo. Same. It's more meaningful to me when I hear someone I love tell me I'm proud of you, or someone I love helps me with a task.
Proud of me.
Yeah. It's more meaningful when I get to do things with someone that I love, or I hear supportive words from someone that I love.
What was the first one?
I get to do things with someone I love.
Supportive words.
I think do things for me. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love does things for me instead of just talking about doing nice things. So does the things instead of just talking about it. Or I feel connected to someone I love through a hug.
Feel connected. Do we have pen and paper over there? I have a thought I need to write down before I forget it.
There you go. It's more meaningful to me when I hear the phrase or hear praise from someone I love, or someone I love gives me something that shows they were really thinking about me.
Hear praise.
Hear praise. It's more meaningful to me when I'm able to just be around someone that I love, or I get a back rub from someone that I love.
Just be around them.
Yeah. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love reacts positively to something I've accomplished, or someone I love does something for me that I know they don't particularly enjoy.
Acknowledging my accomplishments.
Yeah. It's more meaningful to me when I'm able to be in close physical proximity to someone that I love, or I sense someone I love showing interest in the things I care about. For me, the top one is my partner and I kiss frequently, or I sense my partner is showing interest in things I care about. Kiss frequently is going to be mine, but yours is I am in close physical proximity to someone that I love, or since someone's showing love, or showing interest in things you care about.
I don't like the wording of this one. It's making it very hard for me to choose. I'm going to throw it all off and say when they show interest in something I care about.
All right. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love works on special projects with me that I have to complete, or someone I love gives me an exciting gift.
Work with me on a project.
I guess, yeah. It's more meaningful to me when I'm complimented by someone I love on my appearance, or someone I love takes the time to listen to me and really understand my feelings.
Take the time to listen and understand my feelings.
It's more meaningful to me when I can share a meaningful touch in public with someone that I love, or someone I love offers to run errands for me.
And these are both really great. I'm going to say touch in public. That's what it said.
Is that what you really want to say? Same here. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love does something special for me to help me out, or I get a gift that someone I love put thought into choosing.
Help me out.
So mine is reworded as my partner does a bit more than their normal share of the responsibilities that we share, like around the house, work related and stuff. I'm going to go with the other one. I get a gift that I know my partner put thought into choosing.
Have we chosen most of the same answers?
I'd say 75%, yeah.
Okay.
It's more meaningful to me when someone I love doesn't check their phone while we're talking with each other. Or someone I love goes out of their way to do something that relieves pressure on me.
Again, both of these are super important, but I'm going to say when they go out of their way to relieve pressure.
I'm going to say doesn't check their phone while we're talking. I can look forward to a holiday because I'll probably get a gift from someone that I love, or I hear the words, I appreciate you from someone that I love.
Hear the words.
Yeah. Yeah, same. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love and haven't seen in a while thinks enough of me to give me a little gift, or someone that I love takes care of something I'm responsible to do, but I feel too stressed to do it at the time.
Yeah, the last one.
Yeah. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love doesn't interrupt me while I'm talking, or gift giving is an important part of the relationship with someone that I love.
Don't interrupt me.
I was really wanted to as you were talking. I was
Of course. Of course.
It's more meaningful to me when someone I love helps me out when they know I'm already tired, or I get to go somewhere while spending time with someone that I love.
I get to go somewhere while spending time with someone I love.
Same. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love touches my arm or shoulder to show their care or concern, or somebody I love gives me a little gift that they picked up in the course of their normal day.
touch my arm or shoulder. Listen, I was just about to say touch me, but then that I was like,
Same here. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love says something encouraging to me, or I get to spend time in a shared activity or hobby with somebody that I love.
Oh, see, this one, like, why can't you encourage me while we share time together? Working on a project. Oh, crap. I don't know, Matt. This one's hard.
That's the first one you've been stumped on, huh?
This one is really hard.
I'm going with spend time in a shared
I think I'm going to say, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love surprises me with a small token of their appreciation, or I'm touching someone I love frequently to express our friendship. That's so weird for the single ones. For the relationship ones, it's my partner and I touch a lot during the normal course of the day. Just the phrase touching someone I love frequently to express our friendship is
that's the one I'm choosing.
It's just an awkward phrase.
It is awkward, but that's the one I'm choosing.
Yeah. All right. It's more meaningful to me when someone I love helps me out, especially if I know they're already busy, or I hear someone I love tell me that they appreciate me.
When they tell me they appreciate me.
This one's hard for me. Let's see. I guess I'll go with the top one, I think. That helps me out, even if they're already busy. It's more meaningful to me when I get a hug from someone whom I haven't seen in a while, or I hear someone I love tell me how much I mean to him or her.
Yep, the last one.
Okay. For me, it's my partner and I embrace after we've been apart for a while, or I hear my partner say how much I mean to them. And I feel like I go with the top one.
Okay, see, and worded like that, I would have gone with the top one. But because I'm...
Because you're what, Mo?
I'm single, apparently.
You have one more, apparently.
Different? Okay.
It's more meaningful to you when I'm around someone I love, even if we're not really doing anything, or I'm complimented by someone I love for no apparent reason.
If I'm around someone I love, even if we're not doing anything.
All right. Okay. Are you ready to hear your results?
Yep, I'm ready.
All right.
I think quality time and words with a close physical touch.
Pretty dead on.
Yep.
So quality time, 32%. Words, 29%. So basically almost the same.
Yep.
And then close after that at 26, physical touch.
Yep.
13% acts of service, 0% gifts.
Yeah.
0%.
Listen, every now and then gifts are nice.
0%. Oh.
Just listen. Every now and then gifts are nice. I won't even lie. If like a holiday comes or my birthday or whatever, if you miss something and you don't give me a gift, even if it is like just a card with your words written inside of it, I do feel a little butthurt. Like my feelings do get hurt. And I do begin to wonder, do you even care about me?
I get it. Yeah.
I'm not one of those people that like, you don't have to bring me flowers all the time, or I don't know. I don't need, just because you went to the store, you don't need to bring me something. No, I would much rather you be home with me, spending time. Also, something that I figured out as you were asking the questions, I always thought words of affirmation was my top one. Okay. But I started hearing myself saying no to certain words related scenarios because some of the words are complimentary and then some are supportive and encouraging. I don't need complimentary words.
Okay.
I don't need to hear that you think I'm pretty or whatever. But to hear that you're proud of me or that I've done a good job, that speaks love to me. Not, hey, you look really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it is nice, but I would prefer the encouragement and the support over the compliments.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
For me, 37% quality time. So 5% more than you.
Ooh.
Quality time. So suck on that.
Time is important.
Physical touch was my number 2 with 33%. Words of affirmation was 3, but it was all the way down at 17%.
Oh, so you don't need anybody to tell you anything.
I think that's changed in the years.
Really?
I really think that used to be at least in the top 2 for me. But over the years, that has changed. And I think it's because my self-esteem has risen since high school.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hit me as much. Whoop.
Hey.
Thank you for that sub. Library night 30 months in a row.
Hey, wow. It's Lark.
Acts of service is 10%. Receiving gifts is 3% for me. So Oriel said he was doing it. Let's see. He did it along with us. His was quality time, 37%, same as mine. Words of affirmation at 23%. Tied with physical touch at 23%. Okay. So your secondary ones are both words and physical touch. Acts of service, 17%. Gifts, 0% like you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't need the stuff.
The stuff and the things.
Hey, will you tell me my percentages again? I'm going to write them down real quick.
32% quality time. 29% words of affirmation. 26% physical touch. 13% service.
0.
And then 0 for gifts. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that is the quiz. Like I said, you can, if you didn't follow along with us, you can take this quiz yourself at 5lovelanguages.com. That's the number 5, lovelanguages.com. And it's right there on the homepage. Tomorrow, when we come back, we're actually going to dive a little bit deeper and explain what all these different love languages mean and some examples and all that for anybody who hasn't heard this before or needs a refresher. And then later in the week, we'll go into thinking about, is there a 6th love language? There's actually a whole list of possible 6th love languages. And we'll end the week by asking, is it all just a load of hooey? So it'll be good discussions. We're going to have some fun times. This week we are talking about love languages. Yesterday we took the quiz to dive deeper into just what our personal love languages were. We found out Mo's were mainly
quality time
and
words
of affirmation
and physical touch.
And physical touch came in 3rd, but a close 3rd.
They were 32, 29, 26%.
Right. All within a few. They're all within 3. Yeah, all within 3 each. Mine were quality time and physical touch in the top 2, with the 3rd coming in almost like at half the percentage with words of affirmation. So today we're going to go through all 5 and talk about exactly what they are and what they would look like. Okay. Let's start with words of affirmation.
Okay.
So the first love language, words of affirmation, it is all about expressing affection and appreciation through words, be it spoken, written, text messages, anything like that.
Right.
This may be one of your love languages if you thrive on being told that you're appreciated, hearing the words "I love you" often, and receiving words of encouragement. The key to using words of affirmation is to be your authentic self and express them often. If you have trouble expressing yourself out loud, write a note or send a text. What matters is that you acknowledge people through words. For a partner, it could mean telling them that you love them more often or checking in throughout the day to tell them that you're thinking of them. For a friend, words of affirmation could mean a text to say, you'll be great before a job interview, or complimenting them on their outfit. Some examples to use in romantic or platonic relationships. I love you. Our friendship is important to me. You got this. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for loving me and doing all the things that you do. All right.
Yep.
So, why is that an important part for you? Well,
words?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, we're still talking about us? What?
I know. I don't want to talk about myself. So for me specifically, words are significant because I feel as though if you take the time to think about what you're telling me, what you're saying to me, then you've taken time to consider truly how you feel. That can be, like it said, a text message, a card. I have kept every birthday card, Christmas card, whatever, since I was 13 years old. So I have cards from people, significant people like my grandparents who have passed away. I have cards from them that have notes of their words, you know,
Sure,
just one or two sentences from pretty much my entire life. You know, some of my favorite cards are my graduation cards, my high school graduation cards, because it was full of, I'm proud of you and you did a great job. We knew you could do it, you know, and that was something that we touched on yesterday when we were talking about words. I don't need complimentary words. I don't need words of affirmation that affirm like my physical appearance or anything of that nature. I would prefer having supportive and encouraging words stating how proud you are of me, or that you can acknowledge that I've done something difficult, but I did it. And I came out the other side. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Anyway, words are a quick way to fill my love bucket.
Love bucket.
Mm-hmm.
I think I said yesterday that words of affirmation used to be a bigger deal for me.
Yeah.
But I really needed to hear phrases like I love you. You know, I really needed, it was more about boosting my self-esteem than anything else. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily like, just like you said, like I didn't really care if someone said, oh, you look good today or anything like that. That didn't, like, if it happens, oh, hey, that was nice. Yeah. But it wasn't a big deal. It's not something that I crave.
Right.
But hearing someone say, I love you, or that something that I did was important to them, or things of that nature, that really was a big deal for me because I didn't have high self-worth for a long time. Mm-hmm. And so I needed people to basically affirm that I am worthy for them.
Yeah.
You know, so it gave me a reason to stay here on this earth kind of thing. Over time, I have gotten a little less, needy's the wrong word, but
you think it's the wrong word because I crave it and you don't want to say it and hurt my feelings. No. Okay.
It's more I don't want to hurt anybody else's feelings.
Okay, that's fair.
Because that's for me, it was neediness. For most people, I don't think it is. But for me, it was just like I have to have that, or I'm not sure of my worth as a human being. I haven't needed that in a while, which is good. Mm-hmm. It means I understand where my self-worth and self-esteem comes from. It doesn't come from myself. It comes from the Father and what he sees in me and how I'm being used, all that. And I think I finally kind of get that. That has clicked in my brain in the last decade or so. Mm-hmm. But the only thing that's different between you and I in how we've taken that road is the cards. Like, I understand a card that has like a significant like note or something and keeping that, but like if it's just like a standard card, a birthday card, Christmas card, or whatever, it says nothing of importance, you know, not like it doesn't have any kind of long letter that's specifically written to me or anything like that, I can't throw it away fast enough.
See, okay.
Like, I'll get the card, I'm bleeding, oh, that's nice, and I will immediately walk to the trash can. It has served its purpose.
See, and that breaks my heart because let me just tell you, whenever I purchase a card for someone, and this is just me, I get it, I understand it, I'm a different breed, whatever. But whenever I purchase a card for someone, I will stand in the aisle and I will read through every card within that section for that specific holiday or celebration or whatever until I find the card that most relates to how I feel about that person. And then on top of that, where the card is lacking, I will write in how I'm feeling about that person. There's nothing like a bigger slap in the face than getting a generic card from someone who's supposed to play a significant part in my life and it just is signed. Heart, and their name, and they write the
Ew.
year up in the corner. I'm like, I don't need to remember the year because it's the same daggone thing every single year after year after year. It's the same card you
cross it
give me.
out every
I'm pretty
year.
sure you gave me this card last year.
I think you had a bulk buy last year and there are leftovers and you're just sending out the rest.
Exactly. So keep your heart and your name and your
This is
year
the
to
same-
yourself.
This is the same stupid nativity scene card that I got last year.
Facts.
That donkey still doesn't look right.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. No, and I get that. I don't know. I think I got disillusioned on cards when I was a kid because my mother bought them for everything. I would get a dozen different cards throughout the year from my mom for different random holidays. And she may have sat there and picked out the right ones, but she never wrote any note of her own. All she did was like underline a couple words in the thing. And the more often you get a card like that, the less they mean.
Sure.
And so by the time I was a teenager and I've got 7 dozen of these, cards built up from, the last few years, I'm like, hey, another one to throw on the pile. I mean, I understand you're thinking about me. I'm your son. Just tell me the things. You don't have to buy me cards.
I get that. I'm also, as you're saying this, I'm realizing that it is definitely a generational thing. My grandmother, my Nana, sent cards for everything, but you could tell that she put thought and effort into her cards,
Sure.
and she would write in those cards.
Yeah, no, my mom rarely did that.
My mom, I can remember one of the most significant times in my teenage years where I felt the most loved. I had been having a really difficult time at school, with friendships, with people just misunderstanding me, and every day I would come home just sad and kind of depressed and feeling very lonely. And one day I came home from school and sitting on my bed, like my entire bed was covered with balloons, my favorite candy, my favorite snacks, and a card. And that card held some of the most significant words.
Sure.
As I'm holding a pair of scissors. That card held some of the most significant words that my mom has ever spoken to me. But over 20 years later, and I still remember walking into my room on that random day of the week and feeling incredibly loved.
Yeah.
Apparently cards and words is a generational thing that at least started with my grandmother. It's made its way to me.
KY, thank you for that.
It's made its way to Mila.
Yeah.
Did you see the picture of my Christmas card that she got me for Christmas this year?
Yes, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Very sweet.
It was incredibly sweet. So,
Trombone
anyway.
Dalek says one of the sweetest cards I have from my mom.
Mom. Yeah.
When
You say
she
my
was
mom.
when she was dying, and it has her handwriting for the signature. She sent me a card. Thank you for that resub, Trombone Dalek, for 11. Sent me a card for every major holiday, including Valentine's Day, and it always made me smile. The fact that she wanted to make sure to sign the card when she was losing her mental capacity means so much. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that.
Yep.
That's beautiful.
I have a mom as well. Trombone. That's how
What is that?
It's your grandmother.
Okay, it's just a grandma.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just
I'm
another way of saying
I'm missing something.
grandma. Mom.
So my mom never grew out of that, but she stopped getting physical cards. And so when we all had computers, she started sending me those email greeting cards a long time. And those were never good.
Yeah.
Those were never good. And now, so now she just tries to send me like poem memes or things that she sees in Facebook groups she's a part of. The problem is I'm not a member of those groups.
Oh, that's fair.
So she just sends me a bunch of things that say attachment unavailable.
But she's thinking of you.
But she's thinking of me. I know she's thinking of me. I just don't know what she's thinking of me.
With the change in times and culture, memes is just another way of words of affirmation.
See, tomorrow we're going to talk about love languages, the possible 6th love language. And that was a joke from John Christ. That sending memes is the new 6th love language. But
But that's just words of affirmation.
Is it
That's
though?
all that it is.
I just want people to laugh.
absolutely. Okay.
Making people laugh. Is that a word of affirmation?
That making people laugh could be a love language.
But, I mean,
We'll see.
Talk about it.
But that's not memes. To me, memes is because making people laugh can go far beyond just sending a meme. I mean, it's what we do every day. We make people feel loved every day that we are here on the show because they are dying laughing at us hysterically.
I sure hope so. Or they're just dying inside. Either way.
That's fair. But listen,
somebody you're dying. That's when you listen to this show. Okay.
Let's not forget, it's not just us that feel that words of affirmation are significant. It's in Scripture. It's in the Bible. Our words have the ability to build up or tear down.
Yeah.
And that's something that we have to remember.
All right. We got 4 other love languages to get through. Quality time as a love language. Quality time is the second love language. It's precisely what you think, spending quality time together. Person whose love language is quality time may feel most loved and appreciated when people they care about make time to be together and give their undivided attention. Quality time may be one of your love languages. If you feel disconnected when you don't spend enough time with your partner, not spending enough time with your partner affects your libido. Or you work hard in making time to spend with others. Some examples of expressing your love through quality time: cuddling together in bed for a few minutes every morning before getting up, making it a point to have a date night every week, scheduling time to hang with your BFF no matter how busy you both are, turning off your phone when you're having a conversation or doing something together, creating a ritual like meeting for lunch once a week or taking a walk after dinner. Good stuff.
Yeah.
So quality time was both of our
Number
top
one,
one, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Why is it yours, Mo?
Because I feel like everybody is busy. That it's just the world that we live in. It's the culture that we are all a part of. But if you can make the time to invest in me in some way within our relationship, then that tells me that I'm significant to you. I'm important to you and that you love me and care about me. So yeah, I get that we are all busy. I get that we all have stuff going on. But just the same way that I would go, you know what? I've got about 15 minutes here. Let's run and grab a coffee real quick. Just so I can see you. Just so I can spend time with you.
Yeah. I feel like quality time is such a big deal for me in my marriage that one trip that my wife and I took 2 years ago now has fueled so much still to this day of me feeling good about our relationship.
Right.
Because it was just like solid. How long was it? It was a long time. Was it 12 days? It was a long time. And we spent it just us, most of it on the road. We drove, I just looked it up the other day. We drove like 3,600 miles in a big circle. We actually made a little heart on the map with our design, which was really cool. But that trip was so refueling for our marriage that it did a lot of good.
Yeah.
Not just for us to just get away, but like just not so much that anything was broken in our marriage, but it felt like a lot of things healed from that or like rejuvenated even.
Yeah.
And so that was a big deal.
I mean, you're not going to get much more quality time than being stuck in a car with just one other person.
And what made it so much better is that there was not a single moment on that entire trip where we fought or got into a disagreement of any kind. Yeah. Which, we don't fight a lot, but I don't think we've ever made it 12 days without some sort of disagreement. Yeah.
No.
Like it was really good.
I think that's probably why road trips are my favorite. I have always said that I prefer to cruise, vacationing. I would prefer to cruise and then road trip. But road tripping, there's something special about being stuck in a vehicle with the people that you care about. You have to have those conversations and have to talk things out. I mean, I guess you don't have to. It could just make for a very awkward and long vacation, but...
We also spent a good chunk of that vacation trying to figure out what we were going to name our daughter.
Yeah.
It took a long time to come up with a name.
12 days.
It took a real long time.
Yeah.
But I will say that I have noticed that I'm starting to get really irritated Like, I don't think I had a problem with it before, but I'm starting to get really irritated with anybody that I'm talking to if they're messing with their phone while I'm talking to them.
I legit am on my phone right now.
Not counting here. You and I are doing work. We both have to look at screens all the time. But like, if I'm having a real conversation, or like I'm trying to talk with even Daedra.
Yeah.
Daedra has a problem with this because she'll get on because she plays a game on her phone. I think it's Animal Crossing Pocket Camp. She's loved it. She's been playing it for 2 years. She plays it religiously all the time. And when she gets home, she likes to spend a few minutes on it. And I try and remember that, and I try to respect that. But for a while, like, we would be talking and then she would pull it out while we're talking and I would just get upset with her. But now I'm realizing, no, that's her need to decompress for a moment. And so I'm like, let's just pause the conversation and come back to it. Mm-hmm. But like I had to step out of my own brain and my own reasoning to get to that point. But like, and I try to remember that kind of mindset too with anybody else. Like, you know, maybe something important is happening on that phone, or maybe this is some need that they have at the moment, and I'm interrupting their time by having this conversation. But it takes a lot. Like, it makes me have to really stifle myself when it's happening because I want to, like, will you put the freaking phone down?
No, I agree, 100%. Especially if we're in the middle of having a conversation. If we have started talking about something and then all of a sudden you reach over and open up your phone, I will stop talking.
Yeah.
There's been many times where I have just ended a conversation and waited for that person to come back and be like, wait, did we ever finish that conversation?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, we finished it.
Oh, yeah, it's done.
We finished it a long time ago. You let me know exactly how you feel about me and my feelings and my thoughts and my opinions. And that, I guess that's something else that, like, if I am sharing with you how I feel or what I think, not that I think that my opinion is better than or superior, but I'm sharing with you a part of myself.
Yeah.
I'm being vulnerable with you.
Yeah.
And if you can't respect that enough to put your dang phone down and just listen, then you don't deserve to have that vulnerable side of me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely it's a today problem. You know, it's not something that, you know, you wouldn't be having a conversation with somebody 20 years ago and then they just put the newspaper up in front of their face while you're trying to talk to them.
I bet they would have.
So,
or the Reader's Digest.
Our
or
phones
like,
feel like such an extension of our own bodies now.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't even consider it doing something else. Like,
no, they'd be changing the television channel, you know?
All right.
Yeah.
Can you quiet down? I can't hear.
Exactly. Or doing exactly what you just did, like
to the side.
Looking around the person. I can actually see my parents doing that from my childhood. Like, that is a memory. Yeah.
Yeah. So Oriel says if someone does something like that when I'm being vulnerable, it makes me think they don't care about me.
Exactly.
Yeah. And most of the time, 99% of the time, that's not the case at all. It's just that their brain is focused on something else. But of course it would, right? Like, of course it would make you feel that way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we could get into a rabbit hole. What if you tell the person, hey, this is how it makes me feel when you do this?
You can't change
and then
people.
they continue to do that.
You can't change people. You can't expect people to change.
Okay. You have known me long enough to know that, like, one of my biggest pet peeves was you don't just write people off. You don't just get rid of people.
Right.
I hate that.
Right.
However, there comes a time where you have to choose your own health, your own well-being, your own mental state.
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
New follow. Thank you for following Chris Brand 79.
Okay.
Chris Brad
79. Yeah.
Lost train of thought.
Yep.
Don't write people off, but sometimes for your own mental health,
you have to put up boundaries. You have to walk away.
Yeah.
You have to be willing to say, you know what? This is no longer a relationship that I want to invest in.
Yeah. No, I mean, that does happen, and that is probably a common thing that needs to happen in a lot of people's lives, but they don't do that because one reason or another, they're afraid of, well, if I lose this friendship or this relationship or whatever else, what
do I have?
What will become of me? Yeah. At this point. Yeah. I mean, I get that. It's It's a boundary that you have to make. Next one, physical touch as a love language. Third love language. Let's be clear that this is appropriate consensual physical touch, which looks different depending on the situation and the type of relationship you have with a person. For people whose love language is physical touch, expressing and receiving love through physical contact is important. Touch is the way they connect and feel connected with others. Physical contact might be your love language if you feel lonely or disconnected when you don't get physical affection from your partner. You feel especially loved when a partner randomly kisses you or holds you. You consider yourself a touchy-feely person. Enjoy like hugging people, high fives, fist bumps, things of that nature. Like you can't hang out with a friend without some sort of, friendship touch. That sounds weird.
It does sound
a friendship touch.
Yeah, no.
Obviously, the way you can and should touch others really comes down to the relationship that you share. Expressing affection through physical touch can happen through small physical gestures like hugging. If appropriate, it can also be more intimate contact like kissing and other things. Here's some examples of expressing love through physical touch. Kissing a partner hello and goodbye. Being generous with your affection, including in public, like PDA, hand holding, arms around each other. Spending time cuddling in bed before and after sleep. Prioritizing touching butts in a marriage, and using touch when comforting them, such as placing your hand on theirs or holding them.
Okay.
You know what touching butts is, right?
No, I have no idea. No idea what touching butts is.
Oh man! All right, so physical touch. It was my number 2, and it was your number 3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Or was it number 2?
No, it was number 3, but a very close.
Yeah, that's right. All close for you, though.
Yeah.
All of your love languages are physically touching.
There's only 3 degrees separating them.
Yeah,
so.
right. That's not even 6 feet.
Nope.
That's not even a bubble.
Yep.
No butt touching on the stream. No, we won't be doing that.
Nope.
So yeah, this one's a big one for me. This was my second one, but like by high margins.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily like, the intimate stuff, or anything like that behind the closed door stuff. It's really like, even if I'm just sitting next to you on the couch and our legs are touching each other, on the couch, that's enough for me with my wife most times. Like I want for us to have something, legs touching, shoulders touching, something. And it's not weird because we're married. I like that confirmation in my mind of course this isn't weird. Why would it be weird? You're married. But it happens so rarely anymore because we're always, anywhere that we're at, we're never sitting together because we're always doing something. Like at church, I'm always in the sound booth. Half the time she's in the nursery or whatever. So we don't sit together at church. At home, she sits on a couch, I sit on a chair when we're in the same room together because we both have opposite work schedules, which rarely give us time to sit together anymore. In bed even, she's usually in bed an hour or 2 before I am because I'm up having to finish, LTN stuff most nights. And so it's so rare that we have time to just sit together, and hold hands or anything like that, go to a movie, and Lena gets each other and stuff like that. So that is more important to me, that little stuff, than ever because it's so rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think for a long time, and I think this is probably true for a lot of women, physical touch was a love language that I kind of stifled and kind of pretended like it wasn't something that I needed, because I think men and women have such different ideas of what physical touch means. And I'm not speaking from out of nowhere here. There's all kinds of marriage conferences that have an entire day focused on physical touch between husband and wife and what it looks like for both people. Women crave physical touch. We do, but we want the non-sexual physical touch. We want to know that our physical touch isn't giving you the idea or the impression that this is leading to the bedroom.
Right.
No, we just want to hold your hand. We just want for you to put your arm around us. We want to feel that safety and security of being wrapped up in your arms without in the sheets.
Without you whispering,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There's nothing that can take us feeling more loved through physical touch. I can go from feeling the most loved in physical touch to feeling totally worthless within a matter of seconds when that physical touch is not just true loving physical touch. It has a ulterior motive behind it. Do you know what I mean?
yeah, I get it.
It will take me from 60 to 0 super quick. Super quick. And I think for many years that was just kind of my way of not having to deal with that.
Yeah.
I just suppressed the idea that, no, don't touch me. I don't want you touching me. I don't need your physical touch. If you need me to give you a hug, I'll give you a hug, because I am a very touchy-feely person. If you think about me with our friend group, I'm always the one who is giving the hug or the high five or, you know, I am very physical as a person. But when it came to a relationship, because it felt as if my worth was bound up in that, and that wasn't good for my childhood trauma and things that I had healed from, or thought I healed from, I guess. But yeah.
Now we're uncovering all kinds of things.
We are, yeah. Topic is taking a turn. But it's also incredibly satisfying when you can have a relationship with someone and the physical touch can be both things. Yeah. You can feel loved through both aspects of physical touch.
Yeah.
So
let's move on to, I think, what both of us had as our least two here.
Yeah.
So acts of service as a love language. That's the fourth one. It'll resonate if you believe with your heart of hearts that actions always speak louder than words. By actions, we mean doing selfless, thoughtful things for other people. Remember that these don't need to be romantic in nature. Friends and family relationships can benefit from these acts too. These are some signs that acts of service may be your love language. You're over the moon when a partner helps you with a chore without having to be asked. You're the person who shows up for a friend having a bad day. You're always ready to jump in and do things for people you care about. Acts of service isn't about grand gestures, but rather thoughtful gestures that serve them, like pouring them a cup of coffee in the morning or running an errand for your busy friend or loved one. Some examples: taking them to dinner without it being a special occasion or asked for, drawing a partner a bubble bath without any expectations. They used a funny word here. Offering to babysit for a friend so they can enjoy a much-deserved break. Letting them choose which movie to watch, even if it's Star Wars and you hate Star Wars. Picking up their favorite flowers, soap, wine, chocolate, whatever, just because.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't hate receiving these.
Yeah.
At all.
Same.
And I feel like I also try to give these out sometimes. They're just not the main thing for me, I guess. But I certainly don't not appreciate them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
No, if you know my coffee order or you know how to make my coffee, oh, I almost fell out of the chair. And for no reason whatsoever other than you know that I'm in a rush and you make my coffee, yeah, that I'm feeling loved. I'm feeling thought about, considered. Yeah. Really, it's just coffee, though.
It's all coffee related.
It is.
Trombone Dalek says acts of service was my top one. It's difficult for me to ask for help. It is it's the intentionality with it. It is also something I love doing for others. This is my main way I can tell someone cares about me.
Okay. And on the flip side of that, it's difficult for me to ask for help. I have a very difficult, even when someone is offering it to me, you know, what do you need help with? Or do you want me to take care of this for you? It's really hard for me to say yes or agree to it. And so when someone, I feel very awkward. Like just thinking about it.
I'm fine. I'm good.
Like I get overheated and like I start to feel as if I'm a burden.
Yeah.
If someone
that's I think that's the main fear of people who don't fully understand this as a love language.
Yeah.
Is that you're like, oh, someone's putting so much effort into me. I feel like I can't accept all that.
They
like,
have things going on in their own life.
Yeah, I gotta make it. How do I make this pay off for them in some way? They feel like they didn't waste their time.
Yep. And you know what? And it's actually true. This will go right into gifts, but it's the same thing for me. Acts of service and gifts. I always feel like I owe someone something. If you give me a gift, then I'm like, oh, okay, crap. I gotta get you a gift next time. You bought my coffee, I'll get yours next time. You know,
Right.
It's just one of those things where I'm kind of like, they could be doing so much more with their time. They have a million things on their plate as well. Why are they picking up my slack?
This brings me to a thought I've had about, you know, every now and then you'll go to like a fast food restaurant. You'll go in the drive-thru and you'll get up to the thing and it'll be like, the person in front of you just paid for yours.
Yeah.
For some reason, the expectation is that
You pay
now
for the
you
person,
pay for the person behind you.
But why?
What is that accomplishing?
Yeah.
Now it's just everybody's still paying, but they're paying maybe less or maybe more than what they were supposed to.
And you're
then
forcing me.
eventually there will be one person who gets blessed, doesn't have to pay anything, and will drive off. I feel like that's born out of people thinking, I don't deserve this, so I'm just going to pay for the next one.
That's fair.
Like I get the intent behind what people think that it's supposed to be like this train, but I really don't think that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
If you're blessing someone, pay for their thing, that next person should accept that blessing. Not be like, okay, well, I got one. I guess I got to give one to somebody else. No, accept the blessing that you just got. If you want to give it to someone else, do it next time you come through. But don't just keep that immediate train going because it's silly at that point.
And that is very true because do you know the only times, and I think maybe 3 times in my entire life, the only times that I have started that is when I could see the person behind me and they're struggling in some way, whether it was a mom with her kids and she's fussing at them, you know, and I wanted to bless her specifically. And then she pulls up to the speaker or up to the window. Oh, well, they paid for yours. Okay, well, I'm going to pay for theirs. No.
Right.
I don't want for you to pay for theirs.
Exactly. It makes me not want to do it because I don't want them to feel obligated to have to keep the train going.
Exactly.
It seems silly. Yeah.
I agree. Yep.
Anyway, I'm glad you agree with me. I felt really scared putting that out there to the world.
No, 100%. And KY
trombone agrees too. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, last one here. Receiving gifts as a love language. Receiving gifts is the final love language. It needs to be said that this love language is not reserved for the greedy or gold diggers. It's someone whose love language is gifts. Goes way beyond just wanting stuff. For this person, it's all about the meaning behind the gift and the thought that went into it, not diamonds or luxury cars or whatever. Signs that receiving gifts is your love language. When it comes to gift giving, you put in the time to choose the most thoughtful gift. You treasure everything a partner gives you, no matter how small. You're hurt when someone you love doesn't commemorate an event with a thoughtful token. Showing love through gifts isn't about extravagance. A small memento will be just as appreciated because, big or small, a gift is a tangible reminder that they were thought of and are loved. Some ways to show love to someone whose love language is receiving gift is picking up their favorite pastry or candy on your way home, surprising them with flowers, whether store-bought or picked from the side of the road, giving them a thoughtful greeting card just because. Talked about greeting cards. Bringing your BFF a keepsake from your early friendship, like a picture from your first road trip. Choosing gifts that are personal to your relationship based on like an inside joke or a shared memory. Things of that nature.
Yeah. So if gifts could be what it was just stated there, if receiving gifts could be like that, then gifts would be much higher on my love languages. But because I know the gift giver 9 times out of 10 doesn't always think that way.
Yeah.
it seems to be that it has to be like this big extravagant gift. And so then as the receiver, I'm left feeling guilty. And the bigger the gift, the more guilty I already feel. And then I feel super guilty if I don't really absolutely love the gift. And I'm like, I'm never going to wear this shirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many gifts I've received from friends, and I've just kind of like while going through it, and I'm like, do you even know me? Like, we've spent so much time together. We've had so many conversations. Why did you buy me this? But on the flip,
Is this a Jets jersey?
exactly.
What's going on here?
Why did you buy me something black and yellow?
This is Steelers? Bad call brick? You just bought me? What's going on here?
Okay, so on the flip side of that, I have one of my closest friends 6 months ago, very early into the separation, wrote a Post-it note that just said, "Atta girl, you got this." And that Post-it note has remained on my computer ever since that day.
But that's words of affirmation.
It was a gift.
But it's words of affirmation.
It was a gift, just like a card. Just like a card.
Yeah, but...
Just like a card. So it was a double whammy. So that person
Double whammy.
really got me.
So, like, I don't really care for receiving gifts. Like...
But why? Why don't you care for receiving gifts?
Well, it's not because I'm worried that I won't like the thing or that I'll have to fake it. It's just not something. I mean, it's part of the reason I don't like birthdays too. It's just I don't really care for having attention beyond me. Let's put it that way. I love buying gifts for people, like at Christmas time. I love trying to put like something special in there and seeing people open the gifts.
Yeah.
Could care less what I'm getting from everybody else.
That's the thing. I love to give gifts, and I go out of my way to try and make sure that I give the best gift.
Right.
And I've often said, if I don't make you cry with the gift,
I didn't do my job.
then I didn't do a good enough job. Yeah. Whether those are happy tears or like, oh my gosh, you remembered this,
Or, oh my gosh, how could you do this to me?
Yeah. I mean,
I'll never wear the shirt.
That's what the one chip challenge was. That was a gift that brought me to tears in a different kind of way.
All right.
If you don't like being the center of attention, then what the heck are we doing here?
Look, if I could replace me, I would. All right. That's all for today.
I've got a couple people in mind.
We're well over time. Tomorrow we'll ask the question, is there a sixth love language?
Okay.
This week we are examining love languages. Now, what prompted all of this was a podcast episode that Mo listened to. I'm assuming you listened to it.
Mm-hmm, I did.
Okay, yeah. Just now occurred to me that you maybe didn't listen to it.
No,
maybe
I
was
totally
supposed to listen to it. I did mean to listen to it, but I never got the chance.
You really didn't listen to it?
I didn't, so you're leading this conversation.
Matt, how the heck are we even going to have this conversation if you didn't listen to it?
I feel like we can.
No, I can't believe you didn't listen to it.
I didn't.
I'm so disappointed in you.
Look, how many times have I told you to
Yeah,
do one thing or
legit,
another
but
and
it
you've never
hasn't
done
been
it?
like the main topic of conversation.
Oh, it very much has many times. The episode is called, you could just explain it to me. We'll have a conversation like they did on the show.
I can't
This
with
is our
you
own
right now.
conversation. Is there a sixth love language? Can you elaborate what the episode was about, Mom?
Okay, so oddly enough, it's a couple of friends, male and female, just like you and I, who are not married. They're just friends, and they're talking about love languages and the idea that
They have
there's...
a whole podcast about...
Yeah, I found that kind of weird.
Yeah. It's like, the podcast, like I said, is called Kingdom Sexuality.
Yeah.
And it's a
platonic
like
male-female friend.
That's
yeah,
weird.
I agree.
Okay. But anyway, love language
That's
episode.
neither here nor there. Anyway, there's a whole episode where they found an article about the sixth love language. And the article states that the sixth love language is to be fully known by someone.
Or like feeling seen, right?
Feeling seen. Yeah. So they go into detail as to whether or not being fully known or seen by someone is in fact a love language in and of itself, or if it's just like a side to
Like
one of the other,
ones, yeah.
one of the other 5 love languages.
So what did they decide? What did they conclude on?
So there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of, well, I think that being fully known or seen is definitely something that adds value to your life and makes you feel loved, but in what aspects are you being fully known and seen? Is that person taking time to go to plan a road trip with you? And in that regard, that's quality time. They're spending time with you. And so is your love language quality time? Is someone writing you a Post-it note, and
It's almost like feeling seen is just them knowing what your love language is.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then taking the steps and making the effort to truly speak your love
Appeal
language.
to those, yeah. But still,
Yeah.
it feels like it's just the process. It's not a love language in and of itself.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
they landed softly on that. They both kind of feel like it is a way to feel loved, but it is very much connected to one of the other 5 love languages.
Right. It's
So.
like I'm going to provide you with your favorite dinner, and I'm also going to cook it, as opposed to getting it from the store.
Right.
The cooking it is not my love language. Is cooking and then providing you with your favorite meal is my second love language. It's all the same thing, even if there's an extra step to it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You should have listened, because
Almost
they can
immediately.
they can explain it a lot better.
no, you did great. So almost immediately after Mo had the idea to discuss this topic, I got an email. For some reason, and I don't know when this happened, years and years ago, I got signed up for the 5 love languages newsletter. And so once every 2 weeks, I think I get a newsletter, and I delete it immediately and I never read it.
Yeah.
But this one was titled, Is There a 6th Love Language? The same thing as the podcast you sent me. And so I opened it up, and it actually went through a whole list of possible 6th love languages that people have and tries to debunk them.
Okay.
And so I'm wondering if we'll have the same reaction with all of these. We talked about memes, sharing memes as one.
Yeah.
That's not on the list. But what did we conclude that would be? Sharing memes would really just be
Words of affirmation.
words of affirmation,
Yeah.
or
A gift.
would it be a gift? It would kind of be a laugh, giving someone a laugh.
Yeah.
It's a gift, right? I don't know. But it says here, I'm often asked if there could be a 6th love language. I believe this is Gary Chapman, the guy who
Probably.
wrote it.
Yeah.
I respond that there could be, but I will say now that the book has been out for over 30 years and has been translated in over 50 languages around the world, no one has come up with a legitimate 6th. Some have said such things as, I think the 6th love language is chocolate. I say if they bought it, it's a gift, and they made it. And if they made it, it's an act of service. The same applies to food. One wife said that shopping is a 6th love language. I told her that sounds an awful lot like quality time to me, when you want your husband to be with you enjoying something that you are doing. A few companies have even proposed that after polling their audiences, they have come up with a new love language. But make no mistake, they're just rehashing the original 5 or asserting a love language dialect that rises above its category leader. These polls only reflect what people are looking for, not how they categorize or understand the original 5. So here's their list. Shared experiences. So they say this is actually an expression of quality time.
Yeah.
Which it would have to be.
Yeah.
Right. But I
see
get
that.
how we would want to separate that. Right. Because quality time, yeah, we're going to watch a movie together or whatever. But when I think the word shared experiences, I think that trip my wife and I took.
Looking back on a memory.
That was a bigger deal. Yeah. A bigger
Right.
deal, far more reaching results, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I can see how I'd want to put that in its own category. But but it's really just like the penultimate version of that category.
Of quality time.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Giving someone space could be a love language, it says. But apparently that's really just an act of service. Or
Absolutely.
Even qualifies as a gift to some people. It'd be,
Yeah,
it's a gift for me when my mom takes my boys for the afternoon.
that's fair. But knowing when someone is reaching their limit and they just need some time to decompress and isolate,
Yeah.
that is an act of service.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, so feeling seen. This is the one that the podcast talked about. They basically say this is a feeling. It's not a love language. More directly, it's a feeling people get when someone speaks their primary love language. Because it is a sign that someone was either thinking about them or paying attention to their preferences, hence being seen. So I feel like that's essentially the result that they had.
Can we come back to this one?
Yeah.
Since this is like the main.
Yeah. Okay. We'll circle back.
Thanks.
Appreciation. This type of expression falls under words of affirmation. You'd be hard pressed to find an expression of appreciation that wasn't expressed through words of affirmation or one of the other original 5.
Yeah.
An activity, taking interest in others' hobbies.
Quality time.
It's quality time. Emotional connection and support through a challenging time. Again, this really can only be expressed through the original 5. Financial. That's easy. It's receiving gifts. Gifts don't always have to be material. It's really about being mindful of what a person prefers. Some like expensive things, some like sentimental things. All love the thoughtfulness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Intellectual. This type of preferred connection happens through conversation when since we are not mind readers. To try and connect intellectually without words of affirmation and or quality time, this one doesn't work.
Yeah.
Practical. Helping someone out with everyday duties or chores. That's another word for acts of service.
Yeah.
Physical. That's literally one of them.
Yeah.
Physical touch.
Physical touch. Yeah.
So it's saying, so all of these new love languages are really just dialect or a feeling of a connection that can already be felt through one of the original 5. So that was the whole email. So you want to circle back to feeling seen. Now the main topic one here for today. What did you want to talk about?
Okay, so for me personally, I had a friend send me the podcast. And she said, I want for you to listen to this. I want your thoughts. I need your opinions. What do you think? And so I'm listening, and I'm listening with the intent to have a conversation about it. And then I do the same to another friend. I send it to them and I say, hey, I want for you to listen to this. We need to have a conversation about it. I'm curious your thoughts and opinions. Okay. I also sent it to you and you didn't care. You didn't listen to it.
Listen,
but whatever.
Here's what happened. Do you want to know what really happened?
I don't feel loved by you right now.
You want to know what really happened?
What?
You sent it to me. It sent the little link pop up and it had like the description of it. I read the description. I thought, yeah, this is great. I thought it was an article and I was going to come back to read the article later. When the time came for me to sit down and read what should take me 5 minutes, I saw it's an hour 15 podcast. I'm like, oh, I don't have time to listen to this right now. It wasn't
that long.
Whatever it was.
Longer than 20 minutes.
Longer than the 10 minutes that I had allotted for me to read this before I had to do something else. And so I'm like, well, I'm going to have to come back and do this later. I never had the time. I apologize. I just didn't have it. It doesn't matter how long it was. I didn't have the time at the time.
22 minutes.
I don't think you understand my life right now.
I don't think you understand my life right now.
I'm in a situation where I'm falling asleep everywhere because I have no time. I'm up early in the morning and late every night. And so finding time to do these things is difficult. And I didn't get to it. Okay? I'm sorry.
All right. So here's the thing. For me, my response to the friend who sent the podcast to me and asked me to listen to it, I said, being fully known for me, I believe is a love language. My foundational love language. And because I long to be seen and known, I receive and feel love in all 5 love languages. That was my first original response. Okay. If we've already discussed the fact that I scored a 0 in the gifts, as far as that is like, there we go.
Thank you for the raid, my friends.
That is my lowest, what's the word I'm looking for? That's the least
measure?
amount of way that I feel loved
Got
is
it.
receiving gifts. However, every gift that you've given me, Matt, I've been like, he knows me. He sees me. He gets me, right?
Right.
So for me, within all 5 love languages, I can feel a certain amount of love
Sure.
if that person sees me, if they fully know me. See where I'm going with this? Okay. I said, for instance, physical touch. Okay. Holding my hand, brushing my hair out of my face, giving me a sincere hug, or putting your hand around my back while we're in a public setting all makes me feel loved. Okay. Smacking my butt does not make me feel loved.
Makes
right?
me feel loved.
But to have this overarching, like, physical touch is my love language, that's not necessarily accurate. Whereas if you fully know me, if you see me, then you know, okay, these are the physical touches that make her feel loved. These are not. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, I get that. And I get the overarching thing. I understand that. Mm-hmm. I still kind of think, though, of course, everybody's going to have a distinct set of boundaries between what qualifies. I don't think that still would give it enough oomph to be a full nother love language.
So then I had the second conversation.
Yeah.
Okay. With the other person who I asked to listen to this. Their response blew my mind.
Okay.
Okay. Because I was kind of dead set on, yeah, it 100% is a 6th love language. Without a doubt. But the way that they put it was, you have your 5 love languages, but then you have this sidecar that connects to every single one of those love languages that has to work with the love languages. In order for those 5 love languages to work, to be valuable, you've got your sidecar, which is being seen, to be known. If you don't fully know the person who you're trying to love, then it doesn't matter whether you are speaking their love language or not. You could fail every single time. You could fall short every single time. If I tell you that quality time is my number 1 love language, but we're spending time watching stupid movies that I think are absolutely dumb, then guess what? That's not quality time to me.
Another raid. Thank you, Melissa Sings, for that other raid. 2 raids and 1 story, Mo's trying to tell.
Right?
But we're grateful for it. Thank you so much.
Yes, absolutely. Then in that way, I'm not feeling my quality time is not quality.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get that.
So in order to truly love someone within their love language, you have to know them. You have to see them.
Yeah, I think it's like the first step of understanding love languages, period. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is understand what their love languages is, but like in what way.
Right.
Like, of course, physical touch can be something. I think KY made a point in there. It's like, yeah, but don't touch my hair. Yeah. Like that's that's physical touch, but it's not the kind of physical touch you want.
Right.
I could stick my finger in your nose. That's physical touch, but not the kind of physical touch you want.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess for analogy purposes, your foundation is going to be those 5 love languages. You're going to know which one is your love language, which one you feel most loved through, but then building up the walls is going to be having to be vulnerable with those people who you are allowing to love you.
Yeah.
And explaining your boundaries within your love language, explaining and saying, okay, this is a yes, this is a no. This is how I feel loved. I don't feel loved here.
Right.
You know, understanding that we can't just say quality time is my love language and walk away expecting for people to be able to accurately love us in that way. We have to be vulnerable. We have to be honest with them. Here's one for you, though.
Okay.
The fact that my friend sent me this podcast and said, hey, I found this. I want to know your thoughts and opinions. That immediately filled my love tank. It made me feel loved. I couldn't pinpoint what love language that would fall under, other than being seen, because she knows me, because she knows what we do here. She's an active listener. She knows that kind of having these intellectual conversations, these in-depth conversations, is something that I thrive off of. And then it made me feel valued in the fact that my opinion mattered enough to her to want to hear it. So other than being fully seen or known, what love language does that fall under?
Her essentially sending you this podcast knowing that it'd be beneficial to you.
Well, not knowing that it would be beneficial to me, but sending it to me with the intent of having a conversation.
Got it. Okay. That is either, in my mind, a precursor to quality time or just like a gift. Like, I know you're going to enjoy this.
Okay.
This conversation.
Fair.
That would be my, and I believe that's how this would, how Gary Chapman would try and say it. That's not to say that that's a perfect answer to that, though, because I think you're right. I think there's a little bit more to it, or a little bit, at least, sidecar-esque to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really think that would be a precursor to quality time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're going to have a
conversation. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which then would also lead into words
of affirmation, quality time. Yeah. Might even be a gift. Here's something that I know you'll like.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, it's hard to not find some sort of connection to the original 5, but worth having the conversation.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that is all for today, but next time we'll take a look at the claims that the 5 love languages themselves have been debunked. So this week we've been talking about the 5 love languages. We have taken the quiz. We have dove deep into what they are. We've been talking about a list of possible sixth love languages. Now we're going to move on to question if this was all for nothing.
Right.
Have the 5 love languages been debunked? It is easy to find articles that just hate on the love languages as a concept, whether that be because it kind of comes out of Christian circles or just because people don't like being put in any kind of box. That's everywhere. And there's also several articles in the complete opposite of saying, like, this is like perfect, like, mental health definition defining, how you speak in love, and like, this is perfect science and you should trust it with all your heart and all this kind of stuff. You can find both of those in abundance. It's harder to find articles that are a bit more focused on any actual criticisms and trying to be fair to both sides.
Yeah.
This one I think is close. Despite the fact that it's called The Myth of Love Languages, I think it's actually a lot closer to being a bit more fair.
Okay.
So let me read through some of this. This is one of those annoying websites that have like something after every paragraph, so it's going to take me a minute
to scroll through.
This is by PhD Rachel Vanderbilt.
Okay.
She says, love languages have been a pop culture sensation for nearly 30 years, but are they actually based in any actual science? The 5 love languages were not driven by data. And the original book and those that have come out since are not based in science. However, it may be an accessible way for some partners to speak the same language about their relationship and open the door to communicate about relationship concerns more effectively. Last weekend, 2 married friends and I took our kids to a local theme park for a day out together. We were talking about how I was planning to write an episode for Relationship Doctor about a common myth about relationships, love languages. While she was aware that love languages were not scientific, her husband looked really sad to hear that. Love languages aren't real, he asked. And his wife responded, well, no, but I needed a way to get you to open up and talk to me about stuff. Implying she used it to manipulate him. In 1992, Gary Chapman wrote the book, The Five Love Languages. I keep wanting to say lung language. I've been doing that all week. Lung languages.
That's a very different thing.
5 love languages, how to express heartfelt commitment to your mate. And it took the world by storm. Marital therapists, relationship coaches, and romance enthusiasts heavily bought into the idea that there are 5 ways to express love to your partner, that we have preferences on how to give and receive love, and that you can improve your relationship just by tailoring your affection to your partner's love language. On his website, Chapman proclaims the premise of the 5 love languages book is quite simple. Different people with different personalities give and receive love in different ways. By learning to recognize these preferences in yourself and in your loved ones, you can learn to identify the root of your conflicts, connect more profoundly, and truly begin to grow closer. But the thing is, Chapman is not a relationship scientist, and although he has a PhD, it's an education, and he does not conduct relationship research. Chapman's 5 love languages were not driven by data, and his book is not based in science. In writing his book, he has no generalizable evidence that people have different preferences for giving and receiving love. He has no evidence that they are connected to your personality. He has no evidence that misunderstanding your own and your your partner's love languages could contribute to conflicts emerging. Let me skip some of this. And then she goes on to explain what the love languages are, which we've already done. So the first scientific article to take on the empirical validity of love languages. All these words today, my goodness.
Scientific
In 2006, examined whether the 5 love languages were distinct from one another while also belonging to a larger behavioral category. While Chapman's measure didn't quite reach the threshold for statistical significance, the researchers said it came close. Additional efforts in 2013 to validate the love languages fell short with the 5 subcategories of behaviors behaving differently than what Chapman presented in his book. Additional efforts were made to try and see if partners would experience an improvement in relationship satisfaction after working to accommodate the other's love language preferences. The research did not find that couples who worked to align their behaviors to love languages reported more or less satisfying relationships. In short, many of the claims Chapman makes are untested today. Those that have been tested, such as there being 5 distinct love languages or that aligning them will positively impact relationship satisfaction, have not been fully supported. But not necessarily debunked either. Everything seems to be presenting as a, maybe.
Yeah.
Like it kind of, sometimes. KY says, 5 Love Languages is one of 2 books to save my marriage. I think it's about being forced to acknowledge and pay attention to the fact that you and others express and receive love differently. So, like, there's more to this. There's nothing that, again, proves or disproves anything. It's more just about how this isn't like a scientific thing. This isn't in the mental health books. This isn't, something to put all your eggs in, one basket kind of thing. But I'm not sure it could be. Right? Like, you can do these kind of tests or whatever, but it kind of strikes me like like a decade ago or more. I remember reading, and it was headlines everywhere for the week or the weekend or whatever. Prayer doesn't work. And it's because they did this scientific test where they had like a whole bunch of people that were in the hospital, not improving, and they got a bunch of random people whom I think it even said that, different faiths or no faith. They had like a whole bunch of everybody, a little bit of everybody in there. And they were all assigned a specific person to pray for. And they found that, like, on average, nobody really got better. And so prayer doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, that's a version of a scientific study. Sure. That's not how prayer works. It's not just assign a random person who doesn't really care about this person to pray to a random whoever in the sky or nobody in the sky.
Right.
And expect results to happen immediately like that. That's not, you can't gauge that with the answer being prayer doesn't work. And I don't think you can do the same thing with this. I mean,
can we come back to this topic at another time?
Another time? Sure.
Yeah. So I need you to table that because I've got so many thoughts, but it would get us off track.
Okay.
So
prayer week. We'll do a week on prayer in the future.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think the same thing would be here. Like, how can you say that these relationships aren't going to see a noted improvement? Because it might not be immediate.
Yeah.
Right? It might not be within the 6-month window that you plan.
Sure.
This might be a catalyst for change in a relationship that's going to take a couple years to really set in. Like, how do you know that that's not going to fix something or, change somebody's perspective or way of interacting with their spouse or friends or just anybody in their life?
Right.
Like, that would... Jim Bibb one says you can't put God in a test tube. That's right. Like, you can't. These are ultimately tools to be used to help things, but I don't think you can treat something that you already know isn't a scientific method and then try and test it scientifically. This is an emotional thing. It's almost all emotional, and it's requiring you to change a little bit, and it's requiring your partner to change a little bit if it's a married couple situation. And change is hard, and change takes time. And habits are hard to break out of, and new habits are hard to start. I don't know. Those are thoughts that are popping into my head just reading that this is existing at all.
For sure. Yeah. And when you consider from a scientific perspective, there are so many variables to determining each person's love language, to determining how effective receiving love is going to be for that person, even if you are speaking their love language. When you think about a science experiment, if you will, you have to have a control. You have to have your baseline. And we really can't have a baseline when it comes to this. Right. Because there is no perfect human. There is no unflawed human. Unflawed? Is that a word? There is...
Flawless.
There you go. Good job. There is no flawless human. So there's going to be that variable, regardless of who it is that you're talking to or dealing with. And so in that regard, you can't ever have a control, and therefore you can't speak to it from a scientific aspect.
Yeah. Tad Hall says, talking about love languages brings you and your spouse on the same page about how you feel. And see, I told you that words of affirmation used to be a much bigger deal for me because of, my low self-esteem. In my marriage, that translated to me not feeling just feeling like any day she's going to be like, all right, I'm done and leave. And it's because words of affirmation are not Daedra's love language. And so, making it a point to say I love you 1,000 times a day is not in her. Yeah. Not, that's not what she does. Yeah. I'm being very needy at the time for that kind of stuff. Felt that. Yeah. And I thought it's because she doesn't love me. Yeah. She's not saying it. And so she doesn't. And it was making me really freak out. Yeah. And so we had a 5 love languages kind of course at our church, and that brought that out. Yeah. And I basically just had to say, I need to hear I love you more. I really do. And so she made a concerted effort to say those things more. And over time, that's become less of a need for me. And now she still doesn't really say those kind of things all that often, unless I say them first. It's never like her saying it first kind of thing. But again, that's because that's not her love language. But now I know that that's not because she doesn't. Yeah. We've been, dealing with this now for years. It's not an issue for us anymore, not an issue for me anymore. Right. And that, I think, has contributed to the fact that my self-esteem has risen because I understand things better. Right. I understand her better. I don't see how that's not a benefit from this. You know what I mean? But here's another aspect to it. You didn't just learn your love language. You didn't just verbalize your love language to Daedra. You didn't just expect for her to bend and kind of compromise to you. There were also other areas within your life, other tools that you used to help heal. Yeah.
from those hurting places. If you had just stood on the foundation of a love languages basis, you would probably still be in a place where you were feeling very needy.
Yeah.
But because you used other tools, you implemented other self-help aspects, whatever, you were able to come out of that part of your life.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. What I'm saying? Anyway. Just
right.
a thought.
It's not a be all end all. This is going to fix everything kind of thing.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. It's a tool.
Yep.
Yeah. It's not a prescription.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool to help. And for some people, it's not going to help as much as others. That's how all these things work.
Mm-hmm.
But to completely write it off because it's not like based in some sort of scientific process, I think is reckless.
Yeah.
Reckless, slightly irresponsible.
Am I the only person in the world who, like, anything that has scientific proof, I'm always like, but does it?
Maybe not until 2 years ago.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, this is off topic, but on topic with this, what we're just saying now.
Okay.
We got a green screen to help us record church announcements down here.
Okay.
Like we bought a green screen thing. Uh-huh. And it made me think, it'd be really funny to do a promo for our show. Uh-huh. Where like a younger version of ourselves pops up from we pop up into a younger version of ourselves, rather. It's like younger version of ourselves doing a promo for our new morning show, and then we show up and we're like, hey, we've done over 500 of them. And they're like, 500 episodes? There's no way we've done 500 episodes together? That's amazing. You must have been through, lived through a whole bunch of really cool things in 500 episodes. Yeah. And then as I'm writing it in my head, it gets so depressing. Yeah, until 2020 came around.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Then you start to question everything.
Remember those 2 years where every single morning show that we had, we discussed COVID. Done.
You try to be funny, but in the back of your mind, everything's really sad.
Yeah, right.
For a long time.
And
you feel this burden of responsibility to make people laugh while you yourself are going to go cry in the corner afterwards.
Feel like you're dying inside.
Like, it got so dark, and I'm like, nope, we're not going to do that. I'm going to abandon this.
I'm going to need you to rewrite it because I do think that it would be super cool. It's a really cool idea, but yeah.
Oh, gosh.
You might need to heal from 2020 before we do it.
A little bit more, yeah. So, it might have been a comedian or not, but I just heard the phrase the other day that was like the first time ever that everybody on the planet was dealing with the exact same problem.
You're right.
And like that blew my mind just hearing that. I'm like, wow. Yeah. And then we all fought each other over the best way to do it for 2 years, 2 solid years.
Yeah, my mind is kind of blown right now.
Anyway, all that to say, I don't think they've been debunked. I just don't think it's possible to debunk them the way that most people think. Yeah. Because it's not, I just think they're being looked at either too seriously or not seriously enough, depending on the person.
Yeah.
It's just a tool, guys. It's just a tool that might help you.
Yep.
And might help you understand yourself better and your relationships better. And if it doesn't, move on to try something else. But it's worked. It's helped at least enough people that you can't just write it off.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
And I can't find anything negative about it either. Like if it's done correctly, like you can do it wrong, but like I can't find anything that would be a hindrance to like this is dangerous for your relationship kind of thing.
Yeah.
Can you think of anything like that? Other than just not doing it right?
Well, I mean, so right as you're saying this, Trombone has made a comment. For some, it's been helpful, but for others, it's revealed deeper problems with those items. And so I do...
But isn't that also helpful? Because that helps you realize that there's something that you need to work on.
Yes, but no. Because you know better than anybody, you have to be ready and willing in order to heal.
Sure, but what if
And
you don't
so-
really know that you have that problem?
I am of the belief that everybody to a degree underlying knows that they have a problem.
Oh, she was responding to Tad.
Oh, my bad. Never mind.
For the COVID thing.
Yes. But
it does apply to both.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get that.
yeah. Anyway, I'm of the belief that everybody knows that they have some sort of underlying problem.
Sure.
Or thousands of them, like myself. That doesn't necessarily mean that we're ready to address them. It
Sure.
doesn't mean that we want
I think
deal with
though,
them.
In that situation, it would also still be helpful. Not for what I was about to say, but for a different way.
maybe
It would,
eventually,
no.
but
Exactly how you're saying it. I think it would be helpful in if that starts to come up and you realize, oh, I'm not ready to deal with this, then you know
yeah.
that you have something there that you have to deal with, but you're not ready. And so you can stop and walk away and shelve that for later, but at least you realize it. Because I'm also of the belief that if you have something that you're dealing with internally like that, something that you're struggling with from the past or whatever else, you kind of do need to do like a feelings inventory on that from time to time, and you don't ever want to do that.
Yeah, but we are a different breed.
Different breed.
Of people. Because
Rugged.
we have a recovery background.
True.
And the
So in other
majority
words,
of people
we know
don't.
what's best for you.
I mean, that
Listen.
at the end of the day, you're just going to have to trust us. Okay? So, yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, I think that was a decent enough conversation to end on.
Sorta.
Just trust us.
Just trust us,
Just do
guys.
what we do.
Yeah.
Our lives are totally together all the time, guys.
Actually, here's the thing. Like, our lives aren't totally together all the time, and we're very open and honest about it. But that's why you should trust us, because we are so open and honest about the fact that our lives are poop shoots most of the time.
What's a poop shit?
A toilet?
I was thinking it was the lane it travels down to get out of your body.
Sure. Also, in Santorini, Greece, there is a hillside that you walk up that donkeys travel up and down
Ooh.
all day. And because they have traveled up and down, it's a cliffside, so it's rocky, but the rocks are very, very, very smooth from the donkey's hooves just traveling across it. And donkeys poop whenever, wherever. So it is
It just slides on
that. Yeah, that's actually where I dubbed the term poop shoot. Because as we were trying to travel up it with a 15-month-old child on a hiking backpack, I, number one, thought I was going to die because it was the middle of July in Greece. It was like 98 degrees. I was dying of heat stroke. Also dying, thinking that I was going to slip at any moment and fall off the side of this cliff. It's like 978 steps from bottom to top. Yeah, it was a poop shoot. And most of the time, that's what my life feels like. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's going to do it for today's discussion, and we'll wrap up our look at the 5 love languages for the week.